structures as embodied in the United Nations, the World Bank, the IAID, Inter-American Development Bank, the OES, and others. So that's the PNM's position. Tonight, we want to continue with our study of reform of the local government system. You will remember that we said that the thing began in the year 2004. Remember? We started to review the system in 2004. We held consultations all over the country. And by the year 2006, we had a green paper on local government reform. Remember that? The green paper was converted to a white paper when we adopted that green paper. It became a white paper. That's the parliamentary process. But when we tried to give effect to it, we realized that certain aspects of it were not clear. In particular, the responsibilities of local government. Remember that? Good. So what we decided to do was to go back out for further consultations on the question of the responsibilities of local government. We did that. And arising out of that, we now have a new draft white paper on local government, which has been laid in Parliament, and which is now the subject of deliberations at a joint select committee of both houses of Parliament. You understand what I'm saying? Excellent. Excellent. My dear friends, when we met last week, we talked about the responsibilities of local government. Do you remember that? We agreed last week that, as the white paper puts it, the local government bodies are responsible for the maintenance of all public sector buildings not under the control of other state agencies, responsible for the monitoring and the execution of works by state enterprises, statutory corporations, and public sector agencies as prescribed, the provision and maintenance of local recreation facilities, etc., landscaping and beautification of communities, establishment and management of burial grounds, crematoria, and cremation sites, ensuring the distribution of water in areas where there is no pipe-borne water supply, the provision of community policing, an important new area for local government, waste management, management and control of insect vectors and rodents, provision and management of public markets and abattoirs, promotion and preservation of environmental sanitation, promotion and, in special circumstances, undertaking local cultural community events and sporting activities, monitoring, planning, and development activities within the municipalities, the naming of streets and the numbering of houses, disaster preparedness and management. All these are the areas of responsibility of the local government bodies now, as we have agreed to it, and issuing approvals for applications for full planning commission, not requiring a CEC from the EMA in certain special circumstances. Those are the new responsibilities of local government, as we agreed last week. We also agreed that involved in that were a number of new areas for local government. Some of the existing authorities have been taken away from local government, but they have been given others. All of it are being arrived at on the basis of the PNM's experience in government, our experience at the local level, and our experience at the level of governance, where we know what works, my dear friends. We know what the requirements are, and we are able to put something together that takes that into account. I assure you, there is no other political party in the country today that is in a similar circumstance. We also agreed last week that you have to structure the local government bodies in such a way that they could carry out this mandate. And we agreed that there are going to be 7 departments in the local government bodies. The first is municipal management and corporate services. Remember, we agreed on that. We agreed that there will be public health and environment, another division in the local government body. We agreed that there will be a division of social services and community outreach. We agreed that there will be a division of facilities, maintenance, and physical infrastructure. We agreed planning and development was important enough to form a separate division within the local government bodies. We agreed on municipal policing as a division, and we agreed that the 7th division, the 8th division really, is finance, and that's the other division. We also agreed, my dear friends, that each of these divisions will be headed by a secretary, which will be a politician whose job it will be to operate on a full-time basis in ensuring that these functions are properly carried out. So you are going to have a mayor or chairman of the municipality. You're going to have 6 divisions, 6 secretaries, each one heading one of the divisions, and that the portfolio of finance will be allocated by the mayor or chairman to whichever one of those secretaries he thinks is most appropriate to give it to. You understand? A little flexibility. So that those 6, together with the mayor, will form a new executive council in the local government bodies, which will have the executive authority to conduct the business of the local government bodies on a day-to-day business and full time for the first time in Trinidad and Tobago. My dear friends, that approach is very new and is very far-reaching. The approach is very far-reaching, and that is why we thought it appropriate, because it was so fundamental, to postpone the local government elections and to ensure that this new and exciting system is put in place first. And then we hold local government elections under a new arrangement, whereby we believe that we'll be in a much better position to discharge the functions and responsibilities to which we have been called, and to provide our citizens with a better level of service at the local level. There's one other area that has to be discussed, and that is the Ministry of Local Government. What will the responsibilities of the Ministry of Local Government now be? Let me indicate to you what the major ones are, because the Ministry of Local Government is now essential to the proper conduct of the functions of the local government system. The Ministry of Local Government will advise the Cabinet on the charting of the strategic direction of local governance and democracy. In other words, the Ministry of Local Government monitors the system all the time to see what is working properly, what is not working properly, and to make recommendations on a continuing basis to the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the Cabinet, so that we can make adjustments to ensure that the system meets the requirements for which it has been designed. The Ministry of Local Government will develop policy and standards consistent with national and international best practice. In other words, you want to landscape an area, the standards by which the area will be landscaped will be determined by the Ministry of Local Government. The Ministry of Local Government will work those standards out, make them available to the local government bodies, and the local government bodies will then operate on the basis of those standards that have been detained. Modernize local government structure and organizational systems to promote efficiency is the same thing. Facilitate and collaboration with other agencies to coordinate effective delivery of public goods and services. You collaborate with other agencies. The Ministry of Local Government has that responsibility. Monitor, evaluate, and review continuously the operations of municipal corporations. You're monitoring closely what the corporations do to make sure things are done efficiently, things are done effectively, things are done without corruption, and so on and so on. It is the Ministry of Local Government's responsibility to ensure that things go smoothly in the local government system. Provide financial and technical support to municipalities. Well, that's fine, that's self-explanatory. Review and approve annual operating and capital budgets. The Ministry of Local Government will review the budgets of all the local government bodies prior to those budgets being considered by the Minister of Finance, so that the Ministry of Local Government will ensure that whatever the local government bodies wish to do would be consistent with government policy, because what the local government bodies are doing, they are executing government policy rather than enunciating it. It is decentralization rather than devolution. You would have remembered that also. We ensure that they comply with accounting procedures and practices. We ensure that the integrity of all the processes is preserved. And we ensure, Ministry of Local Government, that it exercises oversight and monitors certain state corporations under its purview, which will be the major executing agencies